Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So Bridget,
What?
today
Yes.
Chris was on earlier on with his wakies talking about how we need to get a tissue sponsor.
I thought we need a tissue sponsor and we need a theme song.
We need a tissue sponsor and a theme song. So we're going to get on that.
Yes.
So, we're kind of, we like to be emo sometimes, but we still make things funny.
And when we're saying emo, we're not saying like goth emo. We're talking emo equals emotional.
That's right.
In touch with our
feelings.
And with our feelings.
Yeah. So we have such a very special guest today.
We do.
So Bridget and I just got to have breakfast with her, and, we really got to get a lot of tears out there, so that hopefully we'll keep it together on this one. But, no guarantees.
Tissue. We're here.
Bridget is a certified crybaby, so.
My mom would agree with that one.
She did.
She's like, can you just cry for me? Because I'm all out of tears in my life. I'm like, I got you.
Maybe this is why you're such a peaceful person, because you cry all the freaking time. Could that be? It's so cathartic.
It is cathartic.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
I mean, I'm clearly making fun of you, but I am being serious. I mean, you cry more than anyone I've ever met.
It's because you're so mean, and I'm like, Christina, isn't that sad? Like, were you even crying? Yeah, it was sad.
Real sad.
Maybe it's all the Botox.
It's the Botox. You just can't tell that I'm really deeply hurt underneath.
Because it stops the armpits from sweating. It also stops the eyes from crying.
Right. You're not getting anything out of me.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
All right. Well, enough of our shenanigans. So, guys, today we are so happy to have Angelica Sharpe with us. And she is Wonder Woman. She is a stunner. She is a mom, a wife, a friend, a million things. And she also has an incredible story that we're going to dive into this morning about love and loss and keeping legacies alive. And so, Angelica, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Can
isn't
you just
it true? Follow me everywhere?
Yeah, I'd love to. You're one of those people that's always so happy. It's hard not to be happy around you. So.
Likewise. It's always a good day when I'm hanging out with Christina.
I love this.
I do love this. I'm feeling a little jealous. Whatever, guys.
You should be.
You could link in too, Bridget.
I don't get the invite, so
we can cry together. If you're a crier, I'm a crier.
You know what? This half of the table will be waterworks.
Guess what? She's my new best friend.
You know what? If that came about, I would love this. We are all about uniting and thriving together.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't have enough friends.
We can't. All right. So we're going to start off with a little scandal. How do you feel about that? Are you guys okay with a little scandal?
Let's.
So Angelica and her hubby, who is like one of the coolest, most even-keeled,
just kind of stoic,
but
just a stoic
cool
guy.
And deep. But also, when you get to know him, and that you've made it to friendship with him, like when he cracks a joke, when he lets you in, and you're like, oh damn, I didn't know he had that in him.
You called it. That's exactly
that feels pretty special as the outsider.
Sure.
Yeah. So So talk to me. So what I'd love to hear is kind of tell me your story of how you and your hubs met, and then, take us down that path, and then we'll just keep interrupting you as we see fit.
Yeah. Well, we met in high school, and it was kind of funny. His cousin and my best friend were dating, and so he was always with his cousin, and I was always with my best friend. And, in high school, you don't go anywhere by yourself. You're with a guy, but you always have someone with you. But so I was the one always with her, and he was always the one with him. So naturally, we just kind of got to know each other. And it was kind of always cat and mousey. He was kind of flirty, but, and I guess, part of me was he's really shy, because when you first meet him, he's really quiet and to himself, and I'm just the complete opposite. So I'm like, I can't be with someone like that. I'm completely different, and I'm like, he doesn't know what he's into with all this. So But I mean, getting to know him, you know, we hung out a lot and, you know, we fell in love. And
I love this.
just that simple. And I feel like we were inseparable for a lot of time. And when he graduated high school, went on to college, and yeah,
Were you still in high school?
I was a senior when he graduated.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, you know, we just try to spend as much time as we can together. And it was like, gosh, I miss you. Like, I haven't seen you. You're at school.
Oh, I love you so much.
He would even like take me to school. Like, I was so cool. I was dating a college man.
I
like,
love it.
yeah.
Rolls up on
Scandal.
campus,
Yeah.
picks you up early from
Yeah, I'm
school.
like, yeah, that's my college
That's my
guy.
man
is
here,
my
no biggie.
boyfriend.
My college boyfriend.
No big.
All the guys at high school are like, that's so lame. College guy dating a high school girl.
They're supposed to be ours. We get first pick.
So it is.
Yep.
Yeah, so I learned early on, like, you know, he was just such a good guy. Like, and I was kind of always waiting for him to change. Like, oh, he's acting nice right now, or acting like a gentleman, and like he's gonna switch. And it never happened. Still waiting.
Isn't that a sign of such good parents?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
in most cases.
In a lot of cases. I
in
mean,
a lot
not
of
always,
cases,
but I
in
feel
most
like
cases.
when you meet, I feel like it's so rare these days that you meet really solid people. Everybody is
Yeah.
so messed up, and not like in a bad way, but just everyone's gone through so much stuff. It feels like, and especially at that age, like people are just, you don't even know who you are. Like, so when you find someone who's really rooted in that, it's pretty special.
It is special.
Shout out to the parents.
Shout
for sure.
out.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And when I met them, I fell in love with them too. And his sister and his brother, and, you know, they're all just amazing, equally amazing. And I'm just like, hey, can I fit in there?
So everything's going well, and then dun dun dun. Then what happens?
Well, we found out I was pregnant about a year after I graduated high school.
Oh, baby.
So you guys weren't that innocent.
No, I never said we were innocent.
Bridget, you just assumed that.
I assume like chivalrous. He's shy.
Teens, your teen
She
kids should
pregnant.
never be alone. Like,
Right?
just
So that's the memo to the parents. You think these kids, this is a respectable young man. No, he ain't.
no. In my family, they say I corrupted him. Like, you poor thing, you got corrupted by my sister.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's so good. That's so
And I'm like, you watch out for the quiet ones.
oh, they're freaks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
All right.
funny.
So you find out you're pregnant. So that has to, as an 18-year-old, that, and I'm just making assumptions in this, that has to be terrifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very terrifying. I had no clue how to be a parent.
Yeah. So, okay. So, and your husband, I'm sure you guys were kind of on the same page, like, oh my gosh, not how, but like, wow, this happened.
Yeah. Like, we were like, well, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Like, he was still in college, and, you know.
How are we going to do this?
Yeah.
We're kids.
We don't even live together.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
Yeah. And then came the best blessing of all.
Yes. We had Lainey. I was 18 years old. And, I mean, looking back, when I see pictures, I'm like, God, I was a child
Yeah.
with a child.
Yeah.
Like, and seeing, you know, how young I was. It was just, and I remember like looking at her as a newborn baby, and I'm like holding her and being just mortified. Like, this little thing relies on me every day to like make sure she's okay. And I can recall thinking like, I have to get up for her. I have to figure out how to be a good parent. And I remember like Tony and I we didn't have much, but we'd go for long drives for just getting out of the house. And we would just talk, and we would talk about like what kind of parents we want to be and what we wanted to teach our daughter. And, you know, she inspired us really. Like, she inspired him. Like, he wanted to do the best he could to give her and me everything.
I love that. Well, I'm
That's
sorry,
so
but
beautiful.
what 18-year-olds are having those types of conversations when they have a kid?
Really mature ones.
Yeah.
That need to grow up fast.
I mean, if I've learned anything from Teen Mom, that ain't the conversation they're having.
Oh my God, I have to wake up. I'm living with my mom.
Yes.
So you guys moved in together?
Lainey was about a month old when we moved in together. We got a really tiny 1-bedroom apartment, and we loved it. We were like, I remember walking in with her carrier, no furniture at all, and we're like, oh my gosh, this place is ours. Like,
We're doing it.
yeah,
We're
And
doing it.
It was kind of funny because like my bedroom stuff in my mom's house was princess. I had like Disney princess sheets, and he had like
Ninja Turtles.
like a twin bed that he slept on. Like, and we're like, well, so it was weird, our arrangement of furniture. Because we're like, we couldn't afford to
got a
go
race car
buy
bed
new
and a
furniture. We're like, so here we are taking like, my queen little bed from my mom's house to my, and then we're like, oh, we need new sheets because we can't have princess sheets. So
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
it
is
works
so
somehow.
funny. I can
Okay,
picture
so you have Lainey, and tell us a little bit about that first phase of your guys' life. You guys kind of growing up
it
together.
was so rough, like so rough. And I think when we're living in it, you couldn't tell really until you come out of it, and you're like, holy cow, how do we get through that? Tony had probably just finished college and, getting a big boy job, and, we're just trying to make ends meet. And, we had fun. Like, we had fun with her. Like, she was our pride and joy. Like, all of our kids are, but I mean, as kids ourselves, like, we would try to find things to do that were fun things
Yeah.
for her. Like, and, it was fun. We had a good time, but, thinking back now, I'm like, how on earth did we
How did you
get
do
through
that?
that?
Yeah.
It was such dark times too. And I think,
Thank you for that honesty too, because I think that's one of the things that parents are constantly like, she was the light and pride and joy. And it's like, bullshit. Tell me how it really was, because that is the hardest thing you'll ever do is raise a kid.
absolutely.
So-
Such dark times. And I feel like to a degree, every mom has some kind of like postpartum depression. Just it's life changing. And I mean, Lainey specifically was a hard baby. She had colic. She cried a lot. I had no idea why. I was trying to breastfeed her, and I didn't know how. I didn't know that like all the way that things worked, and I was just like, why are you crying? I would
Shut
cry
up.
too. I'm
We're
like,
all
let's just cry
crying.
together. I don't know why, but
Yes.
I'm still a kid.
Yes.
You're a kid.
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So surviving that phase of life, which is just a miracle in itself. I mean, I'm surprised that I survived the first year of life with my son. And, it's exactly what you said. Even if it's not postpartum depression, it is the shock of a lifetime when you are just like, think you might know what you're getting into, and then you just have no clue.
right. You leave the hospital and you're like, wait, you're not coming with me?
Wait, who's
Like,
telling
you're
us what to
trusting
do?
me to leave with this little baby?
Nobody's coming in my house to help
I don't
me.
have to take a test? Like, what? How?
But to that note, Tony took parenting classes while I was pregnant and would like literally sit in listening, taking notes,
Oh
like
my
what to
gosh.
expect, like what to look for when your person's in labor. Like he was like sharp about it. He knew like, oh, I think that's your mucus plug. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, wow.
What is that? What are you talking about?
Yes.
Wow.
He's that guy. Like that's like literally taking notes.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
That
All
is.
right, so you've got Lainey, you survived that, and then 2 more kids come along.
Yes, we got married. Let's see, Lainey was probably 8 years old by the time I had Aria. And then 3 years after that, I had Lexi.
Okay. Yeah. So family is complete, and now it's like, let's get on with life. Everybody's stable. We've got jobs. We know how to parent. Life is good, and then life is not so good.
That's right. Yeah. I feel like I was living a fairy tale life, and everything was just, I felt perfect in my eyes. All things were good. My kids are healthy. My, job, my husband's job, like stable, I guess it felt good, right?
Everything's good.
Yeah. And let's see, Lainey started complaining about feelings in her legs. Like, she's like, my legs feel kind of numb. I don't know what, or like, and, I just was like, okay, like, you're growing, it's growing pains, like, you're fine. She's was always healthy. Like,
And she's in
never sick.
sports, and it's like, you're probably sore from running sprints, and just as
You probably
all
didn't
parents
hydrate
do.
enough. It's probably growing pains.
my thing is, like,
you're
drink water.
cramping.
Yeah.
You need more electrolytes. You were out all day.
Yeah. And she did play baseball, and we're like, well, you had a long day of conditioning. Maybe, you're sore. And then that feeling of like not right kind of turned into a limp. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then I thought, like, well, she's a girl. She's very dramatic. And, just we're like, okay, like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not trying to. Like, my legs hurt and I just can't. And that like progressed and progressed. And then before I knew it, she just couldn't walk. And I'm like, what do you mean? You were walking just fine. Like, she's like, I can't walk. So then I'm like, okay, maybe.
What a mind F to just be like, are you being, like, get
Well,
your
and
butt
that's-
out of bed and
that's
walk.
something that we've talked about. Like, okay, are you a hypochondriac parent? Is your kid, complaining? When do you worry? When is it gone on too long? And that's something that we talk about all the time. Like, oh gosh, they're complaining again. Are you just trying to get out of school? Are you
right.
trying to get out of your event? Whatever it may be.
My kid gets a blister on his toe and he's dragging his leg behind him,
Yeah.
like carrying it,
Yeah.
like Tiny Tim.
I need you to hold me. I need you to hold me.
Yeah. And with her not having any prior like injuries or, no falls, nothing that I can think like, oh, yeah, I remember you hurt yourself. No. And so me and my mother-in-law took her to the emergency room because I'm like, well, maybe she hurt her leg or something. And then so we go and, we tell them like, oh, she was playing baseball. Maybe she hurt her leg, or they were thinking like, oh, she probably hurt her back. So we're like, let's just do some x-rays to make sure it's nothing. So they did x-rays, and I remember it was like in the evening time, probably it was 6 or 7 in the evening. We were there all night, and she had finally fallen asleep. And I was like, why is this taking so long? Like, I don't understand. We were tired, and I remember looking outside there's like a garden outside of the window, and I see this little hummingbird, and it's like hovering right in front. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look, a little hummingbird. And so a little bit later, the doctor comes in and she's showing me the x-ray, and she's like, do you like see these things here? And they looked like organs. Like, looking at an x-ray, it looked like I was looking at some organs. And I'm like, okay, is that organs? And she's like, no. She's like, these things are not supposed to be there. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I can't say. She's like, but you're going to have to talk to the oncology team is going to come and talk to you. And all I heard was oncologist. And I was like, no.
You're like, no, morons, that's for cancer. That we're talking about bones here.
And I think then I had like this shock, and I'm like, no. And then like, this is like maybe 6 a.m. at this point, and I was exhausted. Wow. And I was like, I need to call my husband. I need him here now. So my mother-in-law was like, I think she was in shock too. Like, did they just say that? Like, what did they say? And I'm like, they said oncology. And I'm just like crying, and I'm looking at her, and she's asleep because she was exhausted. And I was like, I don't think they have it right. So I called Tony, and I'm like, you need to get over here. So my mother-in-law and Tony switch, and he comes, and it's like as soon as he walks in, the oncologist comes in, and he's like, your daughter has a tumor pressing on her spinal cord, and that is causing her paralysis. And he's like, you guys need to be transferred to Banner. Like, and talked to their oncology team, and we're like, what? And of course, it raised concern, and Tony's asking questions, and the guy is kind of like insensitive. Like, we just learned this, and he's like, they'll give you more answers there. So we're super confused. We're driving to Banner.
So you don't really know what's going on at this point?
No. I mean, we heard oncologists, and we were just like, what? So confusing. They didn't really give us answers. It was more like, we're going to pass you
Just
over
go.
here. Yeah. So we go there, and we learn, like, hey, we're going to have to do emergency surgery first thing in the morning. This was a Saturday, which is kind of, I learned, unusual. And they do emergency spinal surgery to remove the tumor that's pressing against her spinal cord. And they did a biopsy. It took about a month for us to get a definite, like, what type of cancer it was.
But did you know pretty quick, like within that first day, they were like, this is cancer?
I feel like after surgery, they had to do a bunch of different tests, a bunch of different things. And it definitely was like a conversation where they're like, this is like talking about different types of tumors and how it's spread. And we were just like, so are you saying she has cancer? And they're like, yeah, she has cancer. And it was just, I think I was still like,
No.
I don't think they have it right.
Yeah.
Like, this is probably something else. I think they have it wrong. And no, they did not have it wrong. And I think even seeing, like, up on that floor, there's like the Bald Beauty's pictures, and we're like looking at these kids, and we're like,
We don't belong here.
yeah, like, this isn't right. And I felt bad because she had no clue. We didn't know how to tell her. And so we've gone on for a few weeks, and we're like, hey, I don't think we should tell her yet. Like, it's going to change her world. Let's wait to get the next steps of what we're doing, and then we'll let her know. And once we got, like, this is what we're going to do going forward, she's going to start chemotherapy. And, of course, we had to tell her, and it was definitely one of the hardest things. We had to tell our daughter.
Yeah. And so that sort of started the next 18 months,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of the journey. So you were really in the thick of it, of living in the hospital and doing all of the infusions and
Yeah, it
every
happens
test and poke and prod.
so fast. Like, from the time we had the first surgery to, like, the time she started chemo, it was like fast. Her hair fell out, like, and I thought, like, maybe it would take some time. Like, and it's like after the first few rounds of chemo is just
Out.
coming out quickly. And I'm like, oh, dear God, that was traumatic
Yeah.
for her and traumatic for me, because I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I can't, it's interesting. One of the things I've heard of what not to say, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, of Angelica could write a book on what not to say to somebody who's going through this, or who's lost a child. But I just can't even imagine watching your girl, nonetheless, with long, beautiful hair, just, one of the many traumas of the entire thing. So that kind of kicks off the journey.
And it was hard because as a woman, our hair, our makeup, our looks, that's our identity. And for a young teen girl, who was I to say, but you're beautiful on the inside? Like,
That
no,
doesn't
she
help.
didn't feel pretty, and she felt sick. And it's like, how do I make her feel okay?
Angelica, what was her diagnosis? So you guys found out she had a large tumor on her spine. Like, what was her staging at that point?
It was stage 4, so it was advanced. And it was it's called mesenchymal chondrosarcoma. And it's an extremely rare type of cancer that grows from the cartilage of the bone. And so it's a slow growing tumor, so that we believe that the tumor that she had was growing for a really long time. And She had had some x-rays in 2016, I believe. And you can faintly see the growth of the tumor, and somehow it was missed. And I think that you can by looking at it, you can confuse it for like maybe scarring, like if she's had bronchitis, your lungs get scarring or anything like that. So it was tiny, tiny, tiny. So it was easy to miss it.
Mm-hmm. Do you wish you didn't know that?
I that's hard to say, because I feel like looking back, there was no visible signs of her sick at all, but I feel like there was like an internal knowing of her own body, like she had anxiety for no reason. I felt she would worry, and she would cry to me and Tony and say like, I feel like something bad is gonna happen. Like she would worry and cry, and we're like, what? There's nothing going on. Like, you are healthy, you're loved. Like, I don't understand this behavior.
Wow.
There was guilt, certainly. Like, I mean, how did I not know? There should have been like a mother's intuition of like, something's not right. And I didn't have that. She was perfectly fine in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. All right, so take us then to, so you go through all this treatment. You're told that she's going to go into remission.
Yeah, she had about a year-long journey before that happened, and they don't necessarily say you're in remission. They'll say like, oh, she's disease-free, like all her margins came back clear, and this is after removing the bulk of her tumors, because she also had some in her abdomen and a large softball-sized one on her lung. So
she's now had surgery on her spine, her lung, her stomach.
Yeah, and then she also had a port put in, which was like a little surgery, but yeah, so the bulk of her tumors were removed, and she had clear margins, which means there was no sign of disease spread.
Which had to feel like the biggest gift in the world. I mean, I can't even imagine the highs and the lows, and then the high of we don't see any cancer, and you're just going, oh my gosh, we survived this.
There's definitely a high, but I think something a lot of people don't realize that I've learned is that there's also lots of lows. She experienced like a survivor's guilt type thing. She would cry like for the other kids, and she would say like, I'm just so sad that I get to go home and they don't. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I felt like at that point we could see the future. Like, she would talk about like possibly going back to school. She would talk about like, oh, I want to go here. Like, she loved to travel, and she would be like, I want to, she had that like sense of motivation, and she wanted to play baseball again. So she's like, I want to go to physical therapy and work on my leg strength, which that was a miracle too. Like, she walked again. We were not sure if removing that tumor, like such a sensitive,
would they nick something?
Yeah, she had to spend time in a wheelchair, and that was a new experience too. Like, we didn't know how to navigate life with a wheelchair, and you'd be amazed at how many different places in Tucson you can't take a wheelchair. And there is like this sense of fear, and people looking at her, and so many different things to feel like you have to hide. We'd go to the store at like the hour before they closed, because she would feel comfortable enough, like, oh, there won't be a lot of people in there.
Man, that's a whole other thing, to just the emotional part of that, to navigate that. All right, so you're told this seemingly incredible news, and then flash forward a month or so.
Yeah, it was about a month, and they did want to do some radiation on her initial spine, where they found the first tumor, because after doing some scans, if you see like bits of glowing, they're like, well, we don't know if it's scar tissue, but we just want to zap that and make sure that it's not anything. So we're like, okay. So we do all the things we need to do to that. And the guy called us and left a message and was like, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to move forward with the radiation. There's been some changes in her scans, and, we're going to have to take a look at that. And I'm hearing this on a voicemail. I'm like, what is he talking about? And so we go through the line, talk to our oncologist, and she's like, I'm not sure. So he called us first, which was funny. But so we talked to our oncologist, and she's like, yeah, we did see that it's come back. It's spread. It's on her liver. It's spread. And so we're going to have to look at other options. So, by the way, there's over 100 different types of chemotherapies. They're not all the same. They don't all act the same. They're not. And so the ones she had gotten the year prior were really aggressive chemotherapies. And by the time we tried other options, it was just so hard on her body. You have to meet a certain threshold to receive chemotherapy. And her body was no longer giving her body what it needed to receive chemotherapy.
So is that the point where you and your husband start going, this is the end? Do you even let yourself think that? Are you like, no, we're going to just fight to the end?
Yeah, we always had hope. I think even when she entered hospice, which was in November of 24, we had a conversation with the oncologist, and she's like, her body is just not. And I'm like, well, is there any way we can, how can we give her what it needs? And it's like, it's just not the way it works. And, but we always had hope for a miracle. We've all kind of heard about different miracles. And I'm like, maybe. And
something could happen.
And her cancer's so rare. It's like, well, maybe something will work or something. So we've tried all different sorts of things, teas and, things people tell us like, oh, this is supposed to shrink tumors. And no, it had spread, and there was no other options for her.
Oof.
I'm ready for a break.
All right. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about loss, what you don't say to people, and then we're going to hear some incredible stories about things that have happened in the wake of Lainey's passing. So quick break. Stay with us.
On Backseat Thriver, we dive into the messy, meaningful moments of life, especially parenting and mental health, because raising kids today takes more than love. It takes support, insight, and sometimes a little help. That's where LNC Therapy makes a difference. A compassionate mental health private practice proudly serving the Tucson community. They specialize in supporting children, teens, and young adults through challenges like depression, anxiety, ADHD, anger management, grief, and more. With a team of experienced, heart-forward therapists, LNC Therapy offers personalized care that meets your family where they are, whether that's in person or via telehealth. Because every young mind deserves a safe space to grow. LNC Therapy, supporting Tucson families one session at a time. Visit them at 7493 North Oracle Road, Suite 135. Or reach out and visit them on their website at hello@lndtherapy.com. Now accepting new clients.
In Marana, community isn't just where we live, it's who we are. And at the heart of it all is the Marana Chamber of Commerce. We are building a thriving community through connected business leadership. We start the month bright and early with Marana Mornings, sparking real conversations and connections. We celebrate growing networks at our 4th Tuesday mixers, hosted in exciting spaces. We unite visionaries and leaders at Impact Marana, driving meaningful progress together. We look ahead with Marana Insights, hearing directly from regional voices about what's next for our town. And we serve, through the passion of our board of directors and ambassadors, creating a culture of belonging through service and leadership. Because of our members, we're not just doing more, we're becoming more. Together, we're shaping the future of Marana. We are the Marana Chamber of Commerce.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
All right, we're back with the amazing and incredibly strong Angelica. So I think this is the hardest part of this podcast is the point that we're approaching. So we'll get through that piece, and then we just have so much incredible positive things to share from this. And I think the greatest part about this conversation is what we're all about to hear, what she and her family have done with this incredible grief and turned it into. So you've just been told you're out of options.
Yeah. And so we kind of joined the hospice situation. And we always had hope still, though. Like, hospice was just having nurses come visit us at the house. And at this point, we also didn't tell her, like, hey, you're out of options. It was more like, we're waiting for your body to be able to receive chemo again. But meanwhile, like, we have additional help that's coming. I didn't want her to give up on herself. Mm-hmm. I didn't want her to think we had given up. It was just like an additional support that, it would be easier for her to stay home and get the care she needed. So we accepted that, and she would still go in and get like her platelets and her blood if she needed and help boost her and make her feel good. And it was also part of like her routine that she would go in weekly into the clinic and, until she couldn't. I feel like when it was getting close, I was always like unsure. Like, I can see the physical changes, but I wasn't sure, and I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to make sure she's okay. But she gave us some really beautiful times where she'd like get up and have full of energy, and she'd want to like do the things she loved. She wanted to paint. She wanted to bake. She wanted to go for car rides. Anything she wanted, we were like, okay, let's do it. And then she wanted Taco Bell, even if it was like she had one bite, but it was like,
that was a good bite.
Yeah. And, she gave us those like little glimpses of that was her still. Mm-hmm. And then it declined. And, I try to forget, but, also there are things that I feel like I don't want to forget.
Yeah. Man. So.
And all the while you have 2 other babies.
Yeah.
At home.
Young babies.
Yeah. 6 and 3. And they have no clue what is going on. I mean, they know their sister's sick, but they have no idea what is about to happen. And that was also hard because it's not only do we have our own grief, but we're now dealing with our children and, family. And it was just a lot. Yeah. The overwhelming is just, and of course, like when you find out something terrible happens, like, your family wants to be there.
Yeah.
And you might not always want that family. Like, get out of here. I need a moment.
It just felt like such a intimate, private, like, I don't want people to see my daughter like that. Mm-hmm. And I know she didn't want that either. Mm-hmm. So all of our just immediate family were there when it happened. And I didn't realize that day, like, that would be it. It just kind of seemed like it, like, I was like, hey, like, I was telling my mom and my brothers, like, hey, like, I think, you guys want to just come by and,
give her a kiss.
Yeah. And I guess that was the day it happened. And, it was terrible in the sense that, of course, no one ever wants that, but beautiful in the way that I felt lucky that I got to have her home.
Yeah.
Because I know now that is kind of unusual because most of the time it happens in the hospital or so I got to have her home, and she was surrounded by her closest loved ones, and she had her favorite movies playing, and, you know, she was surrounded by lots of love.
I don't know how you could ask for more than that. I mean, other than for it to not happen, but to be able to have a peaceful send-off in the privacy of your own home with your loved ones.
Yeah, I realized that was a gift for sure, because I know a lot of people don't like to go to the hospital because that's where, you know, they have bad memories of that happening. And I feel grateful that she got to be comfortable and I was taking care of her.
Yeah. So during her whole journey, she had always been the kid that even when she was at the peak of sickness, she's most worried about the other kids on the unit. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. She had very compassionate soul. She cared deeply about the other kids, and she felt guilty taking things that they would give, like, oh, this is for you. And she would be like, well, if somebody else can use it, like, she felt bad. Like, I don't want to take away from them. And we're like, Lainey, that you deserve
for you.
that. That's for
Yeah.
you. And she's like, she didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, she always was looking to take care of the people around her. You know, she wanted to make sure that her parents were okay in the room. And we're like, we're here for you.
Right. Don't worry about us.
She thought about the other kids, and she would see them in the clinic, and she would say, like, gosh, you know, let's get that little girl something, or that little boy. Or she had made a friend, and anytime she would see him, she's like, Mom, like, can you order me a smoothie, but can you also get him one? And I'm like, yeah, like, she just had that giving about her.
That big heart.
Yeah.
So you all started talking about the Lainey's Light Foundation before Lainey passed. So she was really the driver of this. This was what was really important to her, is to make sure that she was giving back. So tell us a little bit about those conversations that you have with her and your husband about what does this look like going forward, and what sort of part did she play in that?
Well, I feel like after giving all, you know, her little gifts, and she really enjoyed helping any way that she could, we were like, you know, Lainey, like, the people who give you these things, they're all foundations, and you can have your own foundation. She's like, I can? We're like, yeah, like, you can do this. And she's like, yeah, I want to do that. I mean, she was inspired by the nurses. She wanted to be an oncologist nurse, or she sometimes says she wanted to be a child life specialist, but she's like, yeah, and I want to have my foundation, and, you know, I want to make sure the kids have this and that. And, like, it was like necessity things, like, oh, I could not live without this. Like, we need to make sure we put this in my bag.
Because how, as a parent, you know, when you first get diagnosed with some type of cancer, you have no idea what you're getting into. Nobody can prepare you. Nobody is going to tell you you're going to need barf bags on the way to the hospital. You need really good chapstick. You need thick tissues. You know, all of the things that you come to rely on. It's trial and error. So you guys really paved the way to help kids who are newly diagnosed with, hey, you don't have to stress about wondering what are all the things that you're going to need to be prepared for. We got you.
Yeah, at least for a start. And I think, like I mentioned, not all chemos are the same. Not all cancers are the same. But in a whole, you always kind of need the basic necessity things that were going to just carry you through until you find the things that you need most. And for us, it was like the little packs that we make and give to kids now that, you know, have barf bags and ginger candies, these like nausea smell sticks that just kind of are just buffers because you get nausea medicine, but you know, those have to be staggered. And sometimes when you're just driving on your way home from the hospital, like it hits you. Yeah, and you can't. So in my purse was always these bags with these things. So she was like, Mom, we need to put one of these inside of the bags. And I'm like, yeah. And I've been super blessed to have people that help me, like, order things for the bags, and, you know, having kids or parents tell me, like, that was super helpful to have.
One less thing I have to stress
makes
about.
me realize, like, yeah, this is all her idea and her dream. And, I'm just the one trying to deliver her idea.
So Laney's Light Foundation goes back to the hospital with these kind of survival duffels that has everything that you need for your hospital stay. What a gift that is. And so you go monthly, weekly?
I go monthly we provide snacks into the clinic as well. So they have a snack station, and that was always Lainey's favorite because she's a kid and loves her snacks. But she wanted like very specific snacks. And when, they only order so much. So we take a wagon full of different variety snacks. We go every month, and then I make these bags and I drop them as they're done, which sometimes could be bi-weekly. But, and it's sad how many families I've been able to help since Lainey's passing. But also I feel so blessed that I've been able to help in any kind of way, even if it's just to make them smile. Some things are not necessity. Some things are just things they like. Because one thing I like to remember is Lainey was more than cancer. She was more than her diagnosis. She was still her. She still loved makeup. She still loved hair and nails. And, those were a part of her. And so each kid is different. So when I get referrals and I see like, oh, they like gaming or, that's them shining through, not their cancer. So yeah, we have these necessities that are going to help you in your cancer, but you're still you. So here are some little things that'll just make you smile while you're there.
All right, Bridget, you run awfully quiet over there.
I can't talk because if I start talking, I'm going to start crying. And I told Angelica, like, do not look left.
Do not make eye contact.
Me and her,
Make eye contact. Just look at Christina the whole time. Stay on point.
Yep.
Do your thing because
Yep.
it is. See, I'm already getting choked up.
I know,
Like,
because
just
what
listening-
parent wants to even
try think about
to
this? Like, it's as a parent, it is your greatest fear
Yeah.
to outlive your child.
Yep.
And it's just not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Don't look left. Don't look
Don't
left,
look left.
Angelica.
Okay.
But you have this legacy that you're moving forward with for her. And it's the
Come
theme.
on, Bridget, you
I
can
can't
do
even
it. You
say
can do it. I know
It's
you
the
can.
It's the theme of our podcast. Today's title is Keeping Her Light Alive. Not just your baby, but yours.
Yeah. And it's funny because she's always worried about me and her dad. And I just felt like this was something she left for us. And she knew that it would help us. And it has helped me. And I feel like in my head, I tell myself, Lainey would love this. I know that this is for you, Lainey. Like, I'm going to make sure this is you. And
You're carrying the torch.
yeah, and I'm very blessed to do that for her.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's not just me. I have, Tony and a bunch of great support, and I really can't do it myself.
Yeah.
I need help. And I guess my end goal is as long as these kids are benefited in some kind of way. But it is really such a small, tight-knit community that is affected by this. And I hate that because no one knows about it and that it's happening so often here in our community. And I hate that they have to watch where they go, or, there's just not enough people that know what it's like.
Right.
And maybe if I can shine a little light on it, there would be a little bit more resources or a little bit more things they can do or a little bit more help.
Well, let's talk about a big light that you are shining. So, Lainey's birthday is December 4th. She passed on January 31st. Okay. So she had just turned 14 and she loved the holidays. So, which, who, Chris is.
What child doesn't?
What child doesn't? So, Laney's Light is hosting an event that is a first time event in Tucson that's happening on December 6th. And do not worry, listeners, we're going to be posting all of this information to follow up on. So, Laney's Light is hosting the first annual Santa 5K. And so, December 6th on the U of A Mall. You guys have to register for this. It's going to be an incredible event. We're going to be highlighting some local resources. It's going to be a really incredible, fun time for the whole family. Bring the kids out, walk this 5K while dressed like Santa. So all of the information we're going to be posting, but mark your calendars and get ready for this, because when you're going to see a sea of Santas running around town, and it's going to be quite a sight. It's going to be benefiting an incredible organization that's doing so much to give back to our kids who are going through cancer in our community. And as you said, what a small, tight-knit group. But I don't think there's anybody that can't agree that this is something that needs, it needs more research. It needs more attention. It needs more funding. It needs childhood cancer research is very underfunded, just like everything. But you guys are really doing a lot to give back to these families. And as you said, it takes a village to go. You couldn't have gone, well, people do, right? You could have gone through it alone, but thank God you didn't have to, and you had a great support system. So that's one thing that our community can do to rally around. So that's going to be incredible. Bridget, did you write this down?
Yes, I did write it down.
I will make sure that you are lidocained up before the event. I will tape your back and your shoulders and your knees, and I'll put you in a bubble.
Get my joint injections.
Get your injections, and put you on a leash, and
walk.
we'll go.
You can walk the Santa 5K.
Absolutely.
Yes,
bring your kids.
Strollers, bring
your dogs.
wheelchairs, bring your dogs.
There's going to be cocoa and snacks and just fun for the whole family. So I cannot wait. I might run 1 mile just to try to train.
Okay.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Just to warm you up.
Just to warm it up.
Maybe it'll
yeah.
probably be a little cold.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So yes, we're super excited for that. So there's a couple of stories that I'm just cannot wait for you to share, because they're so. If you are on the verge of questioning what this life is about or what happens in the afterlife, you've got some powerful testimonials. And Bridget, I'm not even going to look at you during this point because
just don't.
I know. So I won't. So tell us about your daughter's dream that she had. And this was this the day after Lainey passed?
It wasn't the day after, but it was shortly after. I can't say exactly the timeline, but it was shortly after Lainey passed. Our youngest 3-year-old daughter, like any 3-year-old, just yappy and, following me around, and I'm trying to get things done at the house. And something she said caught my attention. She's talking about Lainey. And I kind of stop in my tracks. I'm like, what did you say? And she's like, yeah, I had a dream I saw Lainey. And I'm like, you saw Lainey? I said, where? She's like, here at home. And I'm like, where? And she takes me to the kitchen, the dining area, and she's like, she was right here. And I'm like, when did that happen? And she says, last night while I was sleeping. And I'm like, well, where was I at? And she's like, you were sleeping too. And I'm like, what? I'm like, well, what did she say? And she's like, well, she came in here and she gave me a big hug and she told me she loved me. And she's like, and Mom, she was all golden. Her hair was golden. Her skin was golden. And I'm like, this 3-year-old, I didn't even know she knew the color golden.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a big word.
That's a big word. She was all golden. She's like, but she was also with Jesus. And Jesus was golden. She's like, but even more golden than Lainey was. And she said that Lainey told her, you can hug him. It's okay. He's very nice. So she said, I hugged him. And he said he loved me. And I go, I was a little taken back.
Right. How do you process
This is
that one?
your 3-year-old telling
My
you this.
3-year-old. And I asked her, well, what did Lainey look like? And she's like, well, she had brown hair like mine, and it was all golden. And Jesus, his dress was all golden. And his feet, his feet were all golden. And I'm like, well, what did Jesus look like? And she's looking around, and I have this Last Supper in my dining room, and she points, she's like, he looks like that. But he's just all golden.
Wow.
And Lainey gave me a big hug, and she said she loved me. And I mean, I thought that was amazing, but so special because the night Lainey passed, Lexi was asleep and she had no idea what happened.
Yeah.
And the next day she woke up, Aria had told her that Lainey passed away. And oddly, she knew what that meant. And she's like, no, she didn't. She's over there. She's sleeping. And she's like, no, she's not. So she walks over there, and she was really sad. And so I feel like that was Lainey's way of like, I'm going to say goodbye to because they were really close.
Yeah.
They had a 12-year age gap, but they were really close. Oh. And I felt like that was her way of saying goodbye to her. And something funny now is Lexi, I feel like, has her own relationship with Jesus. Of course, like, you know, in home we're, you know, Christian, Catholic, whatever. And, you know, we say prayers and stuff, but if she talks about him like she knows him.
Like me and my pal are just over here coloring.
Me and my buddy
like,
Jay.
I'm going to draw a picture for Jesus. And she'll put like crosses everywhere. She's like, this is a Jesus sign. And she loves Christian music. There's a song that plays, I think it's called The Presence. It's a Christian song. I don't know, but she'll sing it it's not like something I play like all the, like, you know, for her to know, but she'll sing it at the top of her lungs. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Who are you?
Yeah. Wow. How does a 3-year-old, there's no way a 3-year-old could have a dream like that if
How
it
are
wasn't
you not
real.
crying? How is this not
I'm trying to be
possible?
strong for you, Bridget.
I think she cried when I originally told her.
Oh, I did.
And I think I
did.
was crying too. So
Yeah.
and I've told this story many times, and I've asked her many times to tell me again.
And it's the exact same account every time.
The same way. And she remembers it. And so I think that was so special for her to be able to tell her sister that she loved her.
Yeah.
That's so magical.
Such peace in that, you know, because how confusing for a child who really doesn't grasp the full situation. But for her, you know, like it almost just erases that question mark of when she gets older and maybe thinks like, man, I never even got to say goodbye. I didn't know that she was going to, like, that is her memory of Lainey. Is like, no, she's good. I saw her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how incredible for that kid.
Very incredible. And I feel like she knows somehow that she's like, you know, she'll say like, we're going to see her again. You know, she just says it so confidently. And I'm like,
which, how incredible. So now the other piece, which, you know, we're no strangers to scandal on this show once again. So tell us a little bit about your experience with a grief group up on Mount Lemon. You and your husband were volunteering.
Yeah, we had asked, and it was, I guess, not necessarily a grief group, but it was like a parent group. Like, you were there if your child has or had cancer. We had gone as volunteers because nobody there was bereaved like we were. We were just there. Well, the lady organizing was like, you know, I really think you should just sit in the parents group. It'd be a good opportunity for you to meet other parents, and, you know, you guys can relate. And so Tony and I are sitting there, and everybody else has kids there that are sick or, you know, have been in the situation. We stayed quiet because I didn't want to make other people feel uncomfortable or think like, oh man, like,
I can't speak now because.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the group is over. We go and we're walking away, and this lady comes to us, and she's like, I have to tell you something. And she's like, I don't want to freak you out. She's like, but your daughter has like a message for you, and I have a gift, and I want to share it with you, but you have to be open to receiving it. And I was like, well, what do you mean? So she's like, well, I'm like a medium. She's like, I was born with this gift, and your daughter, I walked into the room late, and she's like, I just hear your daughter saying, "Daddy, Daddy, that's my daddy." And
Now, just to preface this, you did not know this woman. You had not shared in this circle that you had lost a daughter. You were not planning on attending this. You were there as a volunteer. You happened to join this group where you and your husband sat quietly listening.
Yeah,
So
that's
she
right.
does not know your name. She does not know your backstory. She doesn't even know you've lost a child.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we of course were like, our hearts sink, and she's like, well, are you open to receiving the message? And we're like, yeah, of course. So we sit with her, and then she goes on to tell us that, she's like, your daughter has such a strong presence. Like, as soon as I walked in the room, she just comes shooting right in, and she's this glowing beam of purpley golden light. And she's like, and it is so strong, it makes me weep. This woman sobbed crying, and she's like, I'm not crying because I'm sad or anything. Like, her presence makes me weep. And so, of course, we were crying and kind of like, what is this going on? And she goes on to talk about that she misses us, and that she's okay, and that she's happy, and that she's watching over us, and she's watching over her sisters, and she sees that we're struggling and having a hard time, but that she wants us to know that she's okay, she's better, she's
free.
She's free. And she said some really personal things that only we would know, things that I hadn't shared with others. And so we walked away that day, like, really feeling like we talked with Lainey. Mm-hmm. And it was really good peace for us to go home with that, because I don't think everyone gets that. Mm-hmm. But I left thinking, like, I know she's okay, and I know she's with us always. And I think that really helps with grief. And it doesn't change the fact that we're sad, and, we have hard days, and it doesn't change that we miss her or love her any less. It's just, I know that she's okay.
Mm-hmm. Bridget, I'm not trying to look at you.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
It's such people look for that during their grief. People pay for that. People, during their grief of loss of a loved one, they pray for that. And she found you.
Yeah, and I also think that's what makes it also special, is I wasn't looking for that. After we left, and I'm like, leave it to Lainey to find any way to come and tell us, like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
The thoughtfulness of her, even in the afterlife.
Right.
We're good, Mom.
And
I got
prior,
you.
like, I'm just like, we look for signs, and we look for any shred of her anywhere. And that was like, there was no doubting there. That was Lainey.
Yep.
And she talked about, like, her, like, was she really stylish here? Like, did she? And I'm like, yeah, she loved fashion. She loved her shoes and that she's like, oh, she's telling me, what are you talking about? I'm still stylish. And I'm like, that is such a Lainey.
Didn't you hear your youngest daughter say that she was golden and glowing?
And I mean, how would she have known those things? And other people have told me they had dreams about her, and they'll all kind of say the same thing. Like, she just was glowing, this golden glow. I'm like, well, that's my Lainey girl.
It's so incredible to hear things like this that, yeah, I can imagine some shred of peace that could give a grieving parent, just to know that my child is okay and my child is somewhere right now and I will see them again.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about, I mean, you've taken this, a tragic is not even, that's the understatement. I don't even know, there's not a word to describe the earth-shattering thing that this is. And you've taken this and you've channeled it into something good, to leave a legacy for Lainey, to carry that on, to continue to help other kids while she was in treatment, looking at these kids when she should be feeling sorry for herself. And she's going, well, this kid has it worse, or what can I do to help this family? So you're really carrying on that legacy and how powerful that is. So tell our listeners, tell everyone, what can we do to support the Laney's Light Foundation?
There's always giving a gift of donation. There's always volunteering. There's always educating yourself on awareness and having compassion for families that are going through it. And I think a lot of times people say, like, oh, I'm so sorry going through this. Let me know if you need anything. And it's like, no one's going to let you know. Like,
right.
But
you show up and do it.
And I feel like I've learned not only deep compassion, but to understand that if I'm going to offer something, like, I'm just going to do it and not ask questions and not wait for someone to tell me, because no one wants to tell anyone that they need help. They just need help, and maybe sometimes don't even know what to say or what to ask for. But I think simple gestures, kind gestures help.
Well, and even just naming the grief and talking about it. I think, to sort of go off what you just said, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and I may have said this before, is like when something happens, you don't ask the person, let me know if you need anything. Do you need anything? Because as you said, they're not going to tell you. You say, hey, I'm sending dinner. Does this day work for you? You say, hey, I'm showing up to give you a hug. Tell me when is good for you. I mean, whatever that gesture or action that you're going to take, don't ask for that person to tell you. You tell them and give them a choice of dates, something like that. And I think the other piece that I wanted to hit on quickly was, what do you not say to somebody who has, and I'm going to say who's lost someone, but I think let's get more granular on that one and say, what are some of the things that you don't say to somebody who's lost a child?
I think I've told you, we can definitely write a book on all the things not to say.
Yes.
I think one thing that I get asked a lot is if I'm having more children.
Don't ask that, people, okay?
What?
Don't ask that.
I'm not having more children, but I mean, good for the people who have children after such a tragic loss. But I feel like, especially right after such a heavy loss, I think questions that are not helpful should just be left alone. Unless, you feel that comfortable. But even then, I feel like,
I don't care how comfortable you are. Don't ask that.
That's something you ask when you lose a pet. Like, do you think you'll get another one? That's not
then,
something
like,
that you
right
ask
after,
like
I
a
just feel
child. Like, no, you don't. Or, are you going to, somebody who loses a wife or a spouse, are you going to remarry? You just don't say that.
Do it. Yeah.
You just, that's just common sense. You would think, right?
Or I've had people like, oh, are you going to keep her room the same? And I guess those are like, okay, that's curiosity. But, does that help anyone's situation?
Why? Why do you need to know what I'm going to do with my child's room? How about you just zip it?
So,
all right, so don't ask if you're going to have another one.
Don't ask if you're going to keep the room the same. Don't make comments like...
I guess I would just say if the question is not helpful, I would just stay away from that. Sometimes just things get overbearing, even if it just comes from a place of good, especially after something so tragic. I think even like in the process of planning services and stuff, like there's questions like, well, when is her headstone going to be placed on? And well, why hasn't her headstone been on? And it's like, those things are really difficult to plan, and nothing seems suitable enough for such a precious girl. And the questions are constant from different people, and it just gets, I feel like at some point, like, we're going to give off the wrong vibe, and it's like not intentional, but it's like we get the same question. It's like, it's going to be there when it's there.
Yeah.
But that's a difficult process. It's hard enough to just believe that this is here for that reason. So that's another one that.
How about, well, at least you have 2 more. Should we say that
Yeah.
or should we not say that?
Well, I've had that. Yeah, I mean, stay strong, and it's like I don't know what that means. I'm just surviving. I'm just doing what I think I should do, and there's no right or wrong way. And I've seen parents going through the same thing who are just in the dumps, and I get it. It's really easy to fall into that dark hole, and that's not to say that I don't get there either. I try to pick myself up. I have 2 younger kids I need to be okay for. But I have my time and moments where I'm not okay. And I think that's another good thing. Just because someone looks a certain way, like, oh, she was smiling today, she must be fine. Or she had her hair and makeup done, like, she must be doing okay. Like, the looks have nothing to do with
What's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. I think that's those are some really big things to do. And I think addressing in sort of wrapping up this episode, I think and tell me your thoughts on this, but when somebody loses someone or there's this huge tragic thing, talk to them. I know a lot of people, and I myself have been like, well, I'm not going to complain to Angelica about how annoyed I am at my kid right now, or this silly thing that happened, because, I don't want to make her feel like that would probably piss me off. Like, don't talk to me about your kid and how annoying he is, because you have a kid and I don't. And that's not how it works, right? Like, the friendship is being able to confide in someone. And hey, I'm not comparing pain at all, but I do want to tell you, because I care about you and love you, listen to this thing that just happened, without fear that she's sitting there going, I can't believe you would tell me this very normal thing happening in your life after everything I've gone through, right? I mean,
yeah.
And people are afraid to talk to you like you're a normal person.
I've been asked a few, like, oh, is it okay to ask? Is it okay to talk about her? Is it okay for me to talk about I'm like, I'm still human. Yeah. I love you and your family. Like, I want to still feel normal in a way. I know things are not normal, but yeah, I think that never comparing is the answer. It's not to say, like, you can't tell me a problem and be like, but I know what you have going on is way worse. We're not trying to compare, but it's like, you telling me something, it's like, oh, you allow me to forget what I have going on for a little bit, and just like, man, like,
let me get in your world and your problems.
Let's talk about it together.
The normalcy is a little comforting.
Yeah, definitely. Even if I feel like talking about, our kids just reminds us that what we do is so important, and we're not all perfect. And I don't like to feel like I'm the only one that struggles. And I feel like, yeah, if we want to still be kind of normal, we still have to do normal things. But
you still have to wake up every day.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this was heavy, but I think the biggest thing that I'm really excited about is what you're doing with Laney's Light Foundation. So check out the link in our bio for registration for the Santa 5K on December 6th. Go to laneyslight.com, and we're going to put that out there too. It's LAINYSLIGHT.com. So laneyslight.com, on ways you can volunteer, on ways you can donate, on ways you can help honor Laney's legacy. Bridget, you're showing off the stickers we've got here that we're going to be putting in honor.
These have gone where so far?
So let's see. They've been to Africa. They've been to Italy. They're in Disneyland. Where
places in New York, kind of all over the place, California,
all over the world.
Where can someone get their stickers?
I am going to have them available on her website soon. They're currently not, but if you are attending one of her fundraisers, I will have them there.
Yeah. All
right. So we'll get all this posted. Thank you so much for sharing
for
this
me and for allowing me to share a little bit of Laney's story. I could go on, but I appreciate you guys giving me this little bit of time to talk about her.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
All right. Well, until next week, guys. Bridget, what else? Did we cover it?
I think we covered it. Like I keep thriving.
Yeah, I need to go have a
keep
drink.
And thank you, thank you, Angelica, for sharing your story, sharing Lainey's story, and just letting us be a part of it and letting the community be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
right.
Till next Friday.